Hey guys, welcome back. First AP Calc video of 2021, and we are going to talk about the product rule today. So this is just a quick review for you guys. We talked about this in class as well, so we'll just do one problem and you can jump into the practice. So remember, what this is useful for is figuring out more complicated derivatives. So if a derivative represents the rate of change in a relationship, this product rule is going to allow us to tackle more complicated relationships than the ones we can study already. So we've been kind of stuck with just talking about polynomials so far. So just something like this second piece, right, we could find the derivative of. But now we are going to be able to find the derivative of two of these guys multiplied together. Hence product rule, right? So notice in this case we could actually just multiply these together. The long way, I could distribute 9 across this whole thing, and then distribute 7x across this whole thing, and add those together, right? And then take the derivative of that. But that's actually not the easiest or fastest way to do it, so this is a little shortcut in this case. And it happens to be what we're practicing, right? So that's useful to us. So the product rule says that the derivative of f times g, let's write it out. So I'll say f of x times g of x, like that. This isn't maybe the greatest notation, but I think it's the clearest this for you guys. So the derivative of this, f of x times g of x, was equal to f prime times g plus g prime times f. Okay. So the derivative of the first of the two functions times the other, and then the derivative of the second of the two functions times the other. Okay. I think the clearest way to learn this is just through practicing examples. So we'll do this one here together. So I'll label. So I'm going to call my left-hand function f, 9 plus 7x is f, and my right-hand function g. And you for sure know how to find the derivative here. I'm going to do that real quick. So if f is 9 plus 7x, f prime, the derivative of that, well, power rule, right? Derivative of 9 is 0. Derivative of 7x is just plain old 7, right? And then if g is blah, 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 5x plus x to the third plus 2, g prime then is power rule again, right? So derivative of 5x is just 5. X to the third becomes 3x squared. And then derivative of 2 is just 0, right? This would be a great time. It's been a while, right? This would be a great time to pause and just make sure you know how I got those derivatives. If not, go back to week, let me pause and find that week for you. Week 9 it would be. So week 9 is when we first introduced the power rule. It was so long ago now. To review that, right? So the rule there is just subtract 1 from the exponent and then multiply that original exponent out front. Hopefully that, I know that we've had a whole 3 weeks of break. Hopefully that still rings a bell to you though. Okay, so now I know what the derivatives of my two functions are, and then I'm just going to follow the model here. So I'm going to say f prime times g plus g prime times f. So 7 is f prime times g. Well, g is blah, 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 right? So 7 times 5x plus x to the third plus 2. Let me label that to make it super clear. So 7 is f prime, and then blah, blah, blah is g of x, right? Plus, now we want g prime, so 5 plus 3x is g prime. 5 plus 3x squared, I should say, right? Times f. So 9 plus 7x. Okay. And I'll label that as well to make that clear. So g prime is my first set of parentheses there, and then plain old f is my second set of parentheses. Okay. So f prime times g plus g prime times f is the sort of algorithm we're following there. And technically we're done. If this were an AP question, this would be very easy for an AP question because it doesn't really actually ask you to do a whole lot of work here. But you could leave your answer just like this. This is dy dx. That would be fair. Okay. In fact, on Delta Math, it allows you to submit that as well. So you don't need to simplify. It says specifically in any form in the directions. We can just simplify it just for good measure because we will see as we get to some applications of this that it's more useful usually to have this in simplified form. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 7. And what does that get me? 35x plus 7x to the third plus 14. And then this guy, I could draw it a Punnett square if I wanted to, but a lot of you can do this in your head, I bet. So 5 times both of the second terms, and then 3x times both of the second terms here. So that gets me 45 plus 35x plus 27x squared plus 21x cubed. And then I will just combine like terms, and then we're truly done here. 28x to the third. Then my x squared is 27x squared. 70x. And then 49, 59. So that is the simplified version of dy dx. Again, you don't have to simplify expressions like that for Delta Math or on the AP exam. However, it can be useful to simplify them if we're going to use this in an application problem. So say I gave you a word problem where you needed this derivative, it would be useful to simplify it before you move down to avoid mistakes. Okay, so that is your product rule example. If you're stuck, remember this is your model here. Derivative of the first function times the second function plus the second function times plus the derivative of the second function times the first, right? So that model will get you to the solution every single time. Make sure you're working carefully. If you're feeling like you're stuck, we are upgraded now to the premium Delta Math. So there is also a Delta Math video that you can watch that you should be able to access as you're working through the assignment. So if you're stuck, you can watch somebody else work through an example as well. Otherwise, as always, reach out if you need anything, and we'll see you soon.